Good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. It's been a long time since we've had class. Today I'd like to start our third unit focusing on sports and society. In this unit and our final unit looking at sports and society, I'd like us to focus upon the mega business of sports. Today, I'd like us to look at the phenomenon of the fan. We know that sports have been popular for a very long time. However, up to 100 years ago, we enjoyed playing sports. But now, we've gone through what's known as the Great Transformation, where we still spend hours and hours playing sports, but now we spend even more and more hours watching sports. Watching sports on TV, streaming sports on the internet, keeping track of our favorite player, keeping track of our favorite team. Some of us even play fantasy sports, and heck, today, the beginning of the NCAA basketball tournament, many of us have filled out brackets. What happened? Why did this change in our society? Well, it all started about 100 years ago. See, before 100 years ago, the only way to keep up with sports was to read about it in a newspaper. And the only way to really follow a team or follow a sport was to go to the stadium. However, people like you and I that live in Saunders County or Dodge County, we seldom ever got to a game. People just didn't travel back then like we travel today. However, in the 1920s, you start to see more media outlets. In the 1920s, it begins with the radio. People would listen to sporting events on the radio. People still couldn't travel. Travel was limited, so only people in the towns of the professional teams were able to go. The only people in towns that had a college that had sports were able to go. But people were able to listen on the radio. And then in the 1950s, with the invention of television, over-the-air television, with just ABC, CBS, and NBC, more people are exposed to professional and college sports. But you have to remember the 1950s, TV is different than it is today, though. See, there might be 2 baseball games on a week. There might be a baseball game on Saturday afternoon. And in the 1970s, something called Monday Night Baseball on ABC started. So if you were a baseball fan, you had to focus and you waited your whole week to watch 2 baseball games on TV. And on fall Saturdays, there might be 2 football games on ABC on Saturday. And then maybe on Sunday, there might be 2, 3, or maybe 4 football games on NBC and CBS. See, ABC didn't cover football except for Monday Night Football that started again in the 1970s. And if you're a basketball fan, you might be able to catch a basketball game on a Saturday, a college basketball game on a Saturday, and an NBA basketball game on a Sunday. But in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, you could watch sports on TV, but it was such a limited amount of time. All that changes, though, in the late 1970s and early 1980s when cable TV is introduced. And well, with cable TV comes ESPN and the superstations, WGN, that televised every Chicago Cub game, WOR, which televised every New York Mets game, WTBS, that televised every Atlanta Braves baseball game. So in 1979, this is when this great transformation really kicks in, and people can almost start watching TV, well, thanks to ESPN, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then in the late 1980s and the early 1990s, with the advent of the internet, people can begin streaming sports and fantasy sports. Oh my goodness. So this great transformation. We go from playing sports to watching sports. But with the invention of the radio and the invention of TV and then cable TV and then the internet, why was it sports that we became so addicted to? Why is it sports? Why isn't it music, or why isn't it plays and theater? And why is it sports? Well, sociologists think it's sports for several reasons. I myself am taping this at 6:30 in the morning because instead of doing this last night, I watched the Nebraska Cornhusker basketball team in the NIT tournament, wondering if Nebraska was going to win or if they were going to lose, if their season was going to be over. See, sports is uncertain. Next year, when we go to New York City, we'll probably go see the musical Wicked. Some of you have seen Wicked. I've seen Wicked several times. I'll go see it again. I know how it's going to end. You go to a movie, you know how it's going to end. You watch a rerun of a TV show, you know how it's going to end. You don't know how sports are going to end. See, sports are uncertain. People find that fascinating. We want to know what's going to happen. See, and then there's the beauty of sports. Seeing someone hit a three-pointer, on a jump shot three-pointer. Seeing someone dunk the basketball. Seeing someone do a triple axel in ice skating. Someone hitting for the cycle. Someone diving for a ball and catching it. Someone spiking the ball. Someone digging the volleyball. Those are things of beauty that you're like, whoa, that was cool. And then there's that belongingness that goes with being a fan. How many of you wear red during the fall on Husker game days? Or think of all the shirts you might have that support your favorite college team or pro team. Or just going to a game and watching and being with the crowd and the atmosphere, maybe at a pre-game or post-game, or maybe Cody tells me that he can sell his ticket at Notre Dame for double, triple the price. But what really he can sell that goes for a lot of money is his parking ticket. Because people love to tailgate before an Irish football game. And I'm going to guess some of you have had the experience of tailgating before a Husker football game or maybe Kansas City Chiefs football game. That belongingness that goes with being a fan. So today, just want to talk to you about that great transformation that went from participating in sports, the hundreds of the millions, maybe even billions of people that participate in sports up to 100 years ago. And we still have a lot of people that participate in sports, but now we have even more people becoming just addicted and becoming fans of sports, and why that took place. I hope you have a good day. You'll see the rest of the material I need you to work on today, and then I'll see you folks on Monday.